Hey YouTube, Ed here with Jack of All Trades. So I got the TIG torch set up on the titanium welder. I had a lot of people ask me how this thing is TIGging, asked me to do the TIG video, to give the review on the TIG. So I finally got some time to do a little TIGging. I got myself a tank of argon, pure argon, and then I went ahead and I went on to Amazon and I bought the Pyrex clear gas cups. One of my viewers said save yourself a lot of time and headache and don't use the stock gas cups that you get with it. I watched 2 or 3 other videos on YouTube and they all said the same thing, that the stock gas cups suck, so don't even use them. So I decided to not use the stock gas cups. There's a couple other guys out there who did videos on the TIG setup using the stuff that you get with the machine. I'm not going to do it. So I went ahead and I went on Amazon and I bought the clear Pyrex cup kit. I'll put a link in it down below. I think it was about $30 just to get me started, just to try it out. And all this garbage is going in the garbage. So there it is, it's gone. So I've got the torch set up with the clear Pyrex gas cup on it and the diffuser that they give you, and I've got the argon. I also went ahead on Amazon and I picked up some blue tungstens. These were I was told that these are good all-around tungstens, 175 millimeter in length, and then you get 1.6 and 2.4 millimeter diameter, or 1/16 and 3/32 diameter. So I'll put the link to these down there, and then I'm using some filler rod, which oddly enough I picked up at Harbor Freight. I figured it was fitting. I bought the Welder at Harbor Freight. I might as well use their filler rod. And so I got some scrap here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get set up and we're gonna do a little bit of welding. Before we get going here, if you like this channel and you like this content, please go and hit the subscribe button down below, hit the like button, give me some comments, let me know what you want to see, let me know what you'd like to see me do, things I could do different to make the channel better. And I would very greatly appreciate it. I just look for subscribers. I'm not pimping you for cash or anything like that. I just like doing this, and I'm just looking for subscribers. So I see I'm steadily approaching 800 subscribers. I had a whole bunch of people subscribe this week, and that's great. Shout out to all of you guys that subscribe to me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and it's very well appreciated. We hit that 1,000 subscribers. I got an idea what a good giveaway is going to be. So more to follow on that. So let's keep the subscribers coming. Show your buddies, and you're going to like the giveaway. So at any rate, let's relocate the camera. Let me put on some pants and some long sleeves. Don't want to weld in short sleeves. That's just a bad idea. And let's see how this thing TIGs. All right, first let's talk about the Pyrex gas cup. Now I'm going to admit, I did a little practice running before doing the video, so the gas cup is a little dirty, but hey, it's still working. The tip's a little dirty too, and we'll grind that down before I get going here. But basically I use their diffuser, their O-rings, and they give you pretty decent instructions. Just set it up just exactly like the instructions tell you, and you shouldn't have any problems. With the Harbor Freight welder, this knob right here is your gas control. When you turn it on, it turns the gas on. So that's all that knob does. Do not forget to turn the gas on before you strike your arc. I've done it about 4 or 5 times now since I started running this. Just keep forgetting to do it. So make sure you remember to turn your gas on, or you're regrinding your tungsten. I would also recommend getting one of these torch holders from Harbor Freight. They're $10 and they're well worth it. Here's the tungstens I've got. That's what the tungstens I'm going to use. And I'm just basically going to be welding some mild steel scrap that I got laying around, and we're just going to try this out now. Don't pick on me too bad. I have not struck a TIG arc in 32 years. So I'm kind of really out of practice here. I've done a few practice runs. I kind of got my groove going, but I still need a lot of practice. It's been a really long time since I've TIG welded, but I think considering how long it's been since I've done this, I don't think I'm doing half bad. So here's the little kit I got from Amazon. They give you O-rings, they give you insulator, they give you some various backers. I've got the other backer on the torch right now. They give you diffusers for 4 different size welding guns, lots of O-rings, 5 different Pyrex cups. I already broke one because I dropped it because I'm stupid. So that one's in the trash, which is why I've got this one on there right now. The other one that I had on there was the straight cup. But this one seems to actually be welding better than the straight cup did. So we're okay using this. All right, I'm still using the stock regulator. I have not replaced the regulator yet. This is the same regulator I got with the machine. The only difference now is I've got the TIG line, or the line for the TIG torch, and this line goes directly to the TIG torch. It does not go through the welder. You can see that line there. It goes all the way around and it goes right into the TIG harness. It goes right up to the gun. So it's a direct link from the tank to the TIG gun. The other thing you need to know is when you're welding TIG with this machine, the ground clamp goes into the positive and the torch goes into the negative. That's the other thing you need to know about using this machine. Make sure that when you're going to get ready to TIG, you've got the switch located, the mode switch located in the center. Remember, down is MIG, center is TIG, up is stick. So you want to be located in the center. We're going to weld today. Let's turn it on, show you the settings I'm using. I'm welding at 85 amps. Now I'm plugged into 110. And 90 amps is the max you can run off of 110. So I'm 5 amps light of the maximum. I didn't want to push it too hard, and I didn't want to get it too hot while I'm still kind of learning. So, and I am running off of a 110 circuit. Now, like I said, I've practiced just a little bit before doing this video, not much. I just made a couple of quick short beads to make sure I knew what I was doing. And we're gonna give her a shot here. Hopefully it works out. So let's go ahead and let's relocate the camera and let's do a little welding. All right, so you got to turn the gas on manually using the knob, and we're just tacking here. We're gonna tack these 2 plates together. I find that sometimes just adding a little dab of filler rod to the tack sometimes helps out. Sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not. Turns out I didn't need to put a dab of filler rod in it. So I'll tack the first one, we'll tack the second one. And once we've got it tacked up here, we'll flip it over. Now you can see this is a scratch start. So to break the arc, you gotta lift it away to break the arc. And then you gotta put the gas lens right back down there again so you get some post flow on that weld. So, okay, let's go ahead and get that arc started. A little bit of spatter there. I think I had maybe a slightly contaminated tungsten. You can see there I touched just a little bit, but didn't do too bad. And now I've got a good puddle going, and just a dab of filler rod every once in a while, and just come right down, and we'll weld up this bead. You can see it's going pretty good. I'm going slow. I'm only running 85 amps on 110, so I got to go slow to keep that puddle going. Patience. When you're TIGging, you can't go fast. You just got to go slow, and you got to maintain that puddle. And just put a dab of filler rod, so I get the puddle moving. And when I move forward a little bit and the puddle looks like it's drying up, I put a dab of filler rod in there. And just steadily and slowly, very patiently working my way down the seam. Like I said, I'm only running 85 amps, so it's not like I can speed weld with this. The filler rod is doing pretty good. It's a little big. I don't need quite this large a diameter filler rod, but it's working, and I'm working with it. It's what they had in the store, so that's what I had to use. But you can see the arc. Well, you can't really see because I don't have a lens on the camera, but you can tell that the arc is very, very stable. The brightness is about the same all the way across. It's not wandering, it's not weaving. It's just doing really, really well. So now I'm going to stop here and break the arc. Now you see when I break the arc, I bring the cone right back down again and do a little post flow on there. And you can see that's not a bad bead, considering I haven't done this in over 30 years. I mean, sure, it's not the best, but it's good enough for government work. Now we're going to get back into it here. I'll turn the gas on and we're going to try tying into my last weld to see how that goes. That arc started really nice. Got that pedal going now and just start slowly progressing down the line. A little bug there looking at the light. That was his demise. Wasn't such a smart thing for him to do. And again, it's going really well. I've got good puddle control. I'm just trucking along here and taking my time and keep putting a dab of filler in there whenever it's needed. I had a little excess there, so I backed away from the filler for a little bit. Now I'm putting some back in. Just take your time and go nice and slow and work with the heat that you've got. Now I'm sure that if I'd be plugging this thing into 220, I could get a lot more power out of it, and especially considering I'm running about 3/16 steel here. This is pretty thick, but it's good enough to practice on, and that's what I'm doing here is I'm practicing. I haven't done this in so long that I just wanted to use some scrap that I had laying around. Break the arc, put the cone right back down there, get a little post flow. You can see I've got a little inclusion there and yeah, a little gap, but we're learning here, so cut me a little slack. So now I've got it flipped over here and we're gonna work on the other side. You missed the first little inch of bead there that I did, but get that arc started, and that started actually pretty good. Seems like it's going a little better here than the last bead. Get a little more comfortable. I can see I don't have my gun quite positioned the way it should be. Something to keep in mind is that your torch should basically be in line with the seam that you're trying to weld, and you can see that it's a little cockeyed, as is my filler rod. I suppose it's because I'm trying to see where I'm going and what I'm doing, but it seems like it's welding pretty good beside that. Yeah, I'm a little out of my position there, but again, we're learning, so cut me a little slack on this stuff. But it seems like it's going pretty good. Running along here, just again taking my time. It's got a good stable arc, good flow, good puddle control. Putting a dab of filler rod in there every time I need it. It's just running along here, nice and smooth. At least as smooth as I can make it, considering I'm out of practice. Break the arc, post flow it a little bit. That's something you got to remember, is to post flow that a little bit. So we'll get this next bead here a little closer, see if you can't see a little close up. It's hard to see the arc because I don't have a lens there. You can see I stuck the tungsten a little bit. That's the downside of a scratch start. You literally have to touch the workpiece to get the arc started, and sometimes you'll stick them, and it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's going to happen with a scratch start. Eventually, you're going to stick the tungsten. Just like anytime you're TIG welding, eventually you're going to dip the tungsten in the puddle, or you're going to touch the tungsten with your filler rod. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So don't get frustrated when you start TIGging, because you're doing that. It's something everybody does. It's all part of the learning process, really. But here again, the puddle's going along really nicely. The weld is going along really nicely. You can see I've got my gun cockeyed again. Again, it's because I'm trying to see what I'm doing. Just got to remind myself to keep everything lined up in the direction of the weld, but for the most part, it's relatively straight, and it's welding pretty good. Got good puddle control again. Nice stable arc, it's not wandering. Everything seems to be going pretty well here. Coming to the end here, we'll break the arc, post flow it just a little, and there's that weld. And I'm getting better as I go here. So the more and more I do this, the more comfortable I'm getting at it. It seems like it's going smoother and easier as I do it, which is going to happen. It's called practice. The more you practice at it, the better you're going to get. Break the arc there, a little post flow, and that's the end of it. 32 years since I've struck a TIG arc, and I struck the first one here today. I don't think I did half bad, considering how long it's been since I struck a TIG arc. I'm here to tell you that's about as good as I can do right now. The machine certainly welds. It strikes a good arc. It's a scratch start. It's not a pedal. But once the arc's lit, it goes fine. It's stable. It doesn't wander. And a lot of that is how you grind your tungsten. There's 1,001 videos out there on how to grind tungsten. I'm not going to go into it, but a lot of it has to do with how you grind your tungsten. One thing I will tell you about this machine, this thing eats gas. I went through that whole 40 cubic foot bottle in the matter of about a couple hours, just practicing playing with it. I burned up that bottle like it was nothing. And that's because it's got the manual gas control on it. If you had a high frequency start with an automatic gas control on it, you're going to save yourself a whole lot of gas. But I mean, you turn this thing on and then you get yourself situated and then you weld your beads and then you got to turn it off. And there's just a lot of in between and dorking around time when the gas is sitting there running and you're just expelling it into the air. So yeah, this thing eats gas, and it eats gas fast, and it's just because it's a manual start on the gas. So if you're buying this machine and you're going to do a lot of TIGging, you're going to use a lot of gas. The next thing I would say is if you are going to do a lot of TIGging, I don't think this is the machine for you. If TIG is going to be your primary function, you're going to want to spend the extra money, and you're going to want to get something with a high frequency start and a pedal, or the button on the gun with the automatic gas start and the holdover for the gas, or the post flow for the gas. You're going to want to get yourself that better machine if your TIGging is going to be the primary welding you're going to do. If you're just going to TIG once in a while and you just would like to have it in case you need it, this will be fine. It'll work just fine. But I'm here to tell you, you're going to go through a lot of gas. Like I said, I burned through that 40 cubic foot bottle like it was nothing. It's empty. It's stone ass empty right now. There isn't nothing left in it. I think I got 6 pounds left in the bottle, so the bottle is dry. But the Harbor Freight rods seem to work okay. I used the ER70S-2 rods. ER70S-2. I bought these at Harbor Freight. They're the 3/32 rods. They're the smallest rods they had. I was hoping for smaller ones, but this is the smallest that they had. And they seem to work fine. They were a little big. I didn't need a rod that big, but whatever. It worked fine. The beads laid down pretty good. Like I said, the arc doesn't wander. It's very stable. It's very clean. And for a guy who hasn't struck an arc on a TIG machine in 32 years, I don't think I did half bad. I would definitely recommend getting the clear Pyrex gas lenses right away. And these lenses I got, they're actually pretty good. They don't fall off. They're on there very well. They're very positive. They're very secure. They went together very easily. I'm not at all disappointed. It was well worth the $30-some that I paid for them on Amazon. And I'll put the links down below so you've got the link of where I got all this stuff. I also got those same tungstens on Amazon, but I told you that already. So I'll put all those links in the description below. Other than that, for what I'm going to use it for, the TIG function is just fine. I'm not going to do a lot of TIGging, but when I need to, I'll have it. And it's not ideal. It's not perfect. The scratch start, it's okay. It's fine. There's no controlling the heat. It is what it is. You set it to 85 amps. That's what you get is 85 amps. You don't get no more. You don't get no less. So there's no pulsing the pedal or anything like that with this thing. It's just straight up amperage. You get what you get. So basically the moral of the story is if your primary welding process is going to be TIG, this isn't the machine you want. If you just need to TIG every once in a while, this will be a perfect machine for you. It does stick, it does MIG, and the last thing I haven't tried is a spool gun, and I suppose I'll have to get a spool gun for it sometime to try it. I'm just avoiding it because once people find out you know how to weld aluminum, they're constantly asking you to weld all their aluminum shit for them, and I don't want to get into that, so I'm avoiding the spool gun portion of it. At any rate, there it is. It does fine. It's not ideal. It's not a primary welding process machine, but it will do it, and it will TIG, and it'll TIG just fine. I like it. It's not ideal for a lot of work or for if you're doing a lot of TIG welding, but for the occasional TIG welder, it's going to be just fine for you, and you're not going to have any problems. It's a great thing for me to practice on when I want to. The other thing I'm going to tell you is I'm doing this in my shop, and my shop is 18 by 22. And with the amount of gas this thing is using, and I only had the gas set to 15. I didn't have it cranked up. So, I mean, I wasn't pumping a lot of gas, but you can very quickly overtake the oxygen in the room with all the argon that you're putting out there. So make sure that you're in a fairly well ventilated room or you're going to get short of breath and you're going to have some coughing spells. I actually had to step out for a little while and get some air. Because my little workshop here was actually getting a little over inundated with argon. So please be careful that if you're TIG welding or any kind of welding for that matter, make sure you're in an area that's got plenty of ventilation and it's got plenty of room to keep some oxygen in here so that the inert gas that you're using, and in this case that's argon, doesn't overtake the oxygen in the room. So other than that, it's fun. I haven't TIG welded in a long time, and I kind of had a good time doing this, and I'll probably do some more. I think I'm going to have to get a second bottle, so I have one 75-25 for MIG, and then one pure argon for if I occasionally need to do some TIGging. I'll probably have to get a second regulator too. It's going to be much easier to have 2 complete setups rather than switching it from back and forth to back and forth. So anyway, there you go. Hope this was helpful. Hope it was useful for you. Ed here with Jack of All Trades. We'll see you on the next video.